Hello everyone. This video is the video I promised to upload, which explains what tapping into motion is, and how, which would also explain how to slew a crane. So basically, there are different types of cranes, as we all know. There's the luffing crane and the trolley cranes, which is the saddle cranes and the luffer cranes. So basically, cranes that has a jib length or trolley length of 50 meters and more, I've noticed over the years of operation that cranes with jib length or trolley length from 50 meters and above, depending on the configuration of the crane. So some cranes are configured and installed in such a way that they have delayed reactions or early reactions. So this is where the explanation of feeling the crane comes in. So when I talk about feeling the crane, I mean, for example, I'm on this crane. When you are on the crane, you have to be very attentive to different sounds of the crane. The sounds of the gear, as soon as you put it into the first gear, the sounds it makes. Once you put it into the second gear, the sounds it makes, how quickly it picks up. And then when you are also dropping down your gears, when you are decreasing it from the second to the first gear or from the third to the second gear, also the sound it makes. This all helps you to feel. These are all the factors you need to consider when thinking about catching the feeling of a crane. So say for example, this crane, this is a Wolf 180B crane. So I've caught the feeling of this crane. Say for example, as soon as I put the crane in the first gear, I can hear the sound it makes. It makes a not a very loud sound, but it gives you this clicking sound that goes. Did you hear that? That's what it means to feel the crane. So as soon as you hear that, you know that your crane is in the first gear. As soon as I put it into the second gear, I'll feel what sound it makes again. I can hear the increase in the noise from the slew rings. The slew rings has given me a sound that I've gone into my second gear. As soon as I get into the third gear, it does the same thing. It gives me an increased sound from my slew rings. Then you know you are in your third gear. That is what catching the feeling of a crane is all about. As soon as I'm coming down to my second gear, I'll hear a sharp decrease in the sound of the slew rings on this crane. Then I know I've gone into my second gear. Then this volume goes a little bit more lower when I go into the first gear, and I can feel the crane is moving in a slower pace. That is what feeling the crane is all about. So this also helps you in catching the swing. And then, just like I was explaining earlier, once a crane is more than 50 meters, depending on the configuration of the crane, as soon as you come in as a crane operator, you try and catch the feel of the swing and see how fast it moves when you put it in the first gear, how quickly it responds when it goes into the second gear. This would help you maintain a steady slew. Maintaining a steady slew is understanding the flow of the crane, understanding the feel of the crane, understanding how fast it goes on different gears. This would help you to create a constant motion. So on this crane, for example, I put it in the first gear. It's a bit responsive, so I don't have to tap it. Most of the cranes from 50 meters, depending on the configurations, they are not very responsive. Say you have to put it in the first gear and then it jumps. It gives you this sort of move like it's in the second gear. And then the crane begins to wobble all over the place, your hook block begins to run all over the place, and then you are left with trying to catch the swing. Then you will know, okay, in this particular crane, maybe I would need to tap in direction. So tapping in direction or tapping out of the slew brakes, it simply means, say for example, this crane is stopped now, and then I've put the slew brakes. You hear a clicking sound. Then my crane is on the brakes now. So tapping out of the slew brake simply means moving your crane in the direction you want to slew in just a very tiny manner where it releases the slew brakes. You hear that first click, then you know you've taken it out of that of the you've taken the slew brakes out. Just immediately after, then you maintain the position. So say for example I want to slew to the right. I tap it out of the slew brakes, just a tiny tap, just to hear the slew brakes disengage. As soon as you hear that, shortly after, then you hold it in direction. That gives you, as soon as, and don't forget when you want to slow, your load has to slow in that direction, and then you can increase the speed. That puts your crane in a steady motion against when you're approaching where you would need to stop. As you can see, my crane is already in a steady motion. My hook block is not swinging in any direction. That's what a steady motion is all about. So as soon as you want to increase your speed, you wait for it to flow in a particular, for a few seconds, then you increase your speed when the hook block is facing forward. When the hook block is when the hook block is moving in the direction of your slew. And then don't forget, when you want to stop, you need to bear in mind your stopping distance. As soon as you're approaching where you want to stop, you slow down your gear to the second gear, and then this helps you slow gently and with swing free into the position where you need to stop. And as soon as you're approaching that, because there will be a little deflection, you stop, say, a few seconds to where you want to stop. And as soon as your load moves into where you want to stop, then you catch it with the amount of slew you think would be necessary enough to get to where your hook block is, and the load stays to an halt, and then you apply your hook brakes. Just like I said, it will take you, a bit more practice and then a bit more tutoring, watching these videos, to be able to, have a clearer and a better understanding of what it means to catch the feel of a swing of a crane, which would also help in catching the swing. If this video has been of any help, click the like button, subscribe to my page. It gives you the opportunity to be able to see new videos on new tips on how to operate the crane safely every time I post it. Thank you.